Hello, and welcome to our second video blog.
Hey, everybody.
Hey. Last one went pretty well. We had some good comments. We've tried to play with the lighting.
We're not very good.
Well, we're not. But, so behind you, you may see just this giant white wall of whiteness. We tried to cover it in a really dark color, and that made it horrible. So we're going to try this, and then maybe next week I'll just, paint the room black. I really think that would succeed. And I like black rooms. Like they don't get to. Okay. So Anne's wearing her Thor shirt today.
I am.
I wanted to wear this hat that she got me for my birthday. It's a Sisyphus, and it says "That's just how I roll." It's a pretty awesome hat, but it made it so you can't see my face, so I'm not going to wear it.
Someday.
Yes. So we have some great questions for you today. The theme for today is stunting.
Which is awesome, because stunting is one of the best things about Scion, and I love it, so. Alrighty, so here's our first question. Someone wrote in who said, "While I'm familiar with the concept, I have never played in a game in which stunting was a rule. Could you please lay out for us what your guidelines are regarding stunting and the use thereof?"
Okay. Guidelines are really weird, because there's not really guidelines for stunting. However, we definitely do enjoy stunting a lot. It's something that has always, for us, been in all the games we play. We just didn't get rewarded for it before. And so a lot of people were able to completely ignore it because they weren't getting rewarded, so it wasn't something important. What Scion really does is it forces those people who wouldn't normally care to go ahead and do it.
So it's not really as much guidelines, because stunting is one of the most free-form game mechanics ever. But what it is if it's something that you could look at in a movie, or if you were reading a book, or if you were looking at a comic book, if it's something you would look at and think that's really cool, or that's a great image, or that's a great way of doing that, that's probably a stunt. And it can be as easy as, I'm doing the jump off the motorcycle at the beginning of the Matrix. That would be a stunt. Or it could be something as complex as setting up a huge political tea ceremony and following through with it perfectly. That might also be a stunt. What it really matters is that you describe it, and that it's something that's enhancing the scene and making the scene a better story.
Mm-hmm. It's really easy to do in combats. I think for a lot of people that's where they get their jumping off point. It's easy to think about combative things that are really focused and awesome. Like I swing my sword really hard, chopping off his head, and
I roll off against the wall, and I backflip over his shoulder, and I come down on him behind him. It's a simple place to start, and there's a joy to those stunts. You don't ever lose if you start doing more complicated ones. Yeah,
and even if you say you can say things like, okay, well, I'm going to dive off this horse, go flying at him, and decapitate him. And you can say that before you roll. And then if you roll and end up not doing enough to decapitate him, the storyteller then plays with that and leads into what actually happened. So you dove off meaning to decapitate him, but you didn't quite succeed, and he's missing a large part of his throat.
And maybe you fell on something unfortunate.
I don't know why that would happen. But.
Well, it depends on what's going on in the scene. So,
maybe
what it means is that, yes, maybe if you botch. What it means is that the storyteller has an opportunity to work your parts of the story into what they're doing. It makes you, in a small way, participating in the storytelling experience, even though the storyteller is the final arbiter of what's happening.
Yeah. So usually your stunt can be your intent. Usually it's what actually happened, but often if you can go above and beyond to what you think is going to happen, and then the storyteller may have to take that back a bit.
Come back in the frame.
Oh, okay.
The people want to see you.
Well, damn it. If you weren't so short. Okay. So, yeah, I guess the other thing is that social and mental ones are much more difficult. Social ones, I usually give out a little stunt leeway for just having good interactions. Especially if the group is like, okay, well, you're the charisma character, you're the only one that's going to talk in this scene, so you go ahead and talk. Then for the charisma character just coming up with things to say and doing stuff, I give them stunt dice for that to kind of balance the fact that they're probably not in all the combats doing all the combat type stuff.
Yeah, and keep in mind, if you're a storyteller looking at stunting, I know this was asked by a player, but anytime that a social or mental stunt might be there, it's a good thing to keep an eye out for, because it's always easy to see the person doing a backflip and know that they're doing a stunt.
Yeah.
But if you're looking at someone who sets up a complicated rune system to do their mystery, they're doing a stunt. Or if you look at somebody who decides they're going to actively insult this god they're talking to. That might not be a good idea, but they're definitely stunting.
Yeah. I find that with beginning storytellers, usually the physical ones are much easier to give, and they have a lot of trouble with the social and mental, and sometimes those players can feel left out, and then that can torpedo a game towards focusing on the physical, because the players that focus on mental and social aren't getting rewarded. So I think it's super important, even if it's just giving the mental and social people really easy stunt dice. Like, okay, you went and had a conversation, and there's 2 dice, So
don't say it like that. Make it important.
Yeah. But, to prepare them and, ramp them up to their stuff is also important. And so eventually kind of training wheels them into doing good social and mental stunts.
Sometimes it's hard to do social and mental ones because you don't want to jump in and say, okay, take 3 dice for that, because it actually breaks up the flow of the social scene. And in a lot of cases, what we'll end up doing there is just wait till the end of the scene and then say, you did X amazing things, take 7 dice total. And so even though, or, only give them to them when they need dice for an actual role they're doing. So you're not breaking up what they're working on, but you are rewarding them for doing it.
Right. So you could be like, okay, they did a bunch of stuff, and then they have a charisma roll coming up. Be like, okay, well, all that stuff was really great. You can have 3 dice on your charisma roll, and then take 4 extra dice worth of legend that you don't get to use as dice because that'd be overpowered, but you do get to add to your legend pool because you did work for it.
Exactly.
And we mentioned 3 dice. It's in our house rules, but it's important to note that we don't give the 3 dice equals an experience point stunt thing.
That's a good way to make players upset.
Yeah, that's going to make players upset. Jeff Matheson would have all the experience points.
That motherfucker.
Yeah. So don't do that, please. I really think it was a bad idea. Whoever wrote that in was horrible.
But you can just be like, here, I'm giving you 6 dice.
Yeah.
Take 6 legend or 3 willpower and
it really is a constraint on the storyteller to reward the players because XP is worth so much. And it's really just better if you let yourself reward the players as they deserve it and don't worry about the XP thing because that gets into a weird, unfair realm.
Yeah.
But I think that's all we have to say about that. If you have more questions about that, you can put it in the comments. Generally, stunting is pretty free-form, and it's a weird thing to hear people ask about because it seems so intuitive.
And in addition to asking us, ask your storyteller kind of what they think are good examples of stunts. It'll give you kind of an idea of what they're looking for.
When I first played, I had a great conversation with my storyteller because he said, he was only rewarding the physical stunts, and I was a social mental character. And so I was like, hey, just so you know, I feel like I haven't been being rewarded for the things I'm doing. I haven't been getting stunt dice for the things that I do that people seem to be impressed by and seem to be stunt worthy. So, if you could just keep it in your mind that, to try to reward me for that. And then see if it goes a couple games and see how it goes if you get some stunt dice. Usually what might happen is he'll give you a couple in that first game and really try to overplay it and then slowly forget. It may just be a thing you got to kind of remind him of, or you could keep a little card in front of you, folded like this.
I am stunting right now.
There was mental social character. I am stunting.
Don't overdo it. You don't want your storyteller to feel like you're whining for resources all the time, but once in a while,
because then you'll get nothing.
Yeah, that's true. We would give you nothing.
Yeah, but sometimes storytellers just need a little reminder. Sometimes it's difficult. Yeah. Storytelling is a hard job. They have a lot on their mind, so a little nice reminder can be helpful, as long as it's done in a friendly and amicable way.
Yeah. So let's look at our second question today. It is also about stunting. This person asks, I am a great stunter. My latest storyteller started out awarding me 2 die stunts or better, but they lowered this to 1 die or even no reward at all, even though I'm still doing great stunts. I realize he's trying to establish an average reward for me, but it just discourages me from trying to be awesome with my stunts. Those things are hard work. What should I do?
Okay. Well, you seem full of yourself.
To be fair, it sounds a lot like something you would say.
Oh, yes, I'm full of myself. So, first of all, definitely a problem on one side of the table. I don't know which side it is because I'm not in your game, so I can't give... I can't say things like, your ST is doing it wrong, how dare they? Because I'm only hearing one side of the story. So we've got to kind of come at it from both sides and say, what could each of you be doing wrong?
So if it's a problem, it really is a problem with the storyteller. Then it's a question of why he's doing that. And it may just be that you do stunting so often that, like you said, he's trying to establish a regular reward for you. Like if you're a consistently great stunter, he may be wanting to make it a little bit more difficult. He may want you to work for your stunts, especially if other people at the table have more trouble stunting. He probably doesn't want to be constantly heaping stunt dice on you and giving them nothing, because that makes them feel inadequate and that's not fun for the whole group. So it sucks a little bit, but what he may be doing is just trying to say, look, I want to give everybody stunts when they're doing things that are really cool. Since you do really cool things all the time, you really have to impress me. Something that player B did that impressed me probably wouldn't impress me out of you because you're consistently better. And it can feel a little bit like you're being punished for being better, but really what it is him saying, impress me, put some effort into it, because these people are.
A great example might be just your base of knowledge. So if you are a fighter type and this other person's a fighter type, the other person has never really done a lot of fighting at all, and so their stunts are kind of like, okay, well, I'm going to get on the table and jump off the table and kick him. And the SD could be like, well, great job, you get a dice, and that was good for you. But perhaps your character, or your player, you, maybe you're an experienced martial artist. And so you say, okay, well, I do a, roundhouse kick, yeah, spinning crane kick, and then I do my tiger-style punch thing. And that was really lame for me being an actual kung fu person to not... No, but if you were to do all that, and he'd be like, okay, great job, you also get one dice. You're like, but I explained stuff, and I knew the techniques, and I knew the blah, blah, blah. That could all be true, and that's nice, but for your level of expertise, that was a level 1 stunt. Maybe.
Something to watch out for on your side is that if you're doing amazing, great stunts, but you're doing kind of the same amazing, great stunts every time, I probably wouldn't give you stunt dice for them every time, just because you're obviously not putting a lot of effort into it. If you were writing this as a story, you'd be writing a story that was becoming repetitive. So make sure that when you're doing stunts, you want your stunts to be cool, but you also want them to be unique. You want them to be tailored to the situation that you're in right now. If your stunt is that you always do a backflip, like one of our characters always does a backflip every time he attacks anybody, you're probably not going to get stunt dice for it every time because you're not really adding anything. You're just doing kind of a default thing for you.
I really didn't want to get into the backflip thing. I was hoping we could avoid that.
It's not that I don't love you.
But even though the backflip thing, then it became a thing of, okay, well, I always do backflips, I never get stunt dice. And so then it became a neat thing where that player would do backflips in like new and interesting ways to like make sure he got stunt dice out of them.
Or sometimes made him work harder.
Yeah, made him work harder. Or sometimes if he had really zero legend, God, it's because you're so fucking short. Scoot over.
Sorry.
If you had, now I'm bright as hell.
Oh, look what you did.
This is horrible.
You ruined the video. Sorry, everybody.
Sorry,
okay.
everybody. If he had really like zero legend and he was really struggling, and he's like, I need to make this happen. All right, I'm gonna do it. And at the end, I do a backflip. And then it suddenly became this like awesome thing that even though he had done it 1,000 times, that particular time was awesome.
But again, those are things that you work and you build up over time. So it's not just every time I attack, I'm going to do my signature move.
Yeah,
if that doesn't mean anything at that
boring.
time,
Yeah.
it becomes boring. And I don't know if that's what's happening with you because I have no idea what your stunts are looking like that you're not getting rewarded for. But that's something to watch out for on your player side to make sure, you know, am I doing really interesting new stunts or am I just doing the same thing over and over again?
Yeah. And again, we have no idea. You might be pulling out the awesome stunts every single time, and they're new and innovative, and your ST may just be being a dick. Or
not paying attention.
You may be deluded. I think both are very possible, and we agree with both of you. I would say, again, talk to your storyteller.
Yeah, this is a place where you just got to talk to them and say,
your storyteller may just say, hey, you know, I'm really sorry. I had to dial yours down a bit because no one else was getting any stunts, and so I didn't want to favor you too much. So I dialed it down. I'm sorry. I'll try to keep up with it. I'll try to do a little better, but you're going to get less stunt dice, and I apologize. It's for the good of the group.
When that happens, a great thing that you can do is try to involve other players in the group in your stunt. You know, try to leapfrog off of somebody else or involve what somebody else is doing, so then maybe you can both get stunt dice, and then the stunt dice can flow more freely for everybody.
Yeah.
It's not going to work for everybody all the time, but it's always something you can try to do.
Involving other people, in my book, always gets you more stunt dice.
That's true. Just like when you use things in your environment, so just yourself, you get more stunt dice.
Yep.
When you do stuff with other people in your group, usually you get more stunt dice.
And that makes them both the PC probably and the player subconsciously like you more because you're kind of giving them free stun dice. You're giving them free dice, free legend. So they will probably be more willing to expend their resources on you later because you're someone that gives them resources back. And
you're actually helping teach those people that maybe aren't great at stunting yet to do that because you're helping them like visualize themselves doing these cool stunts that they're doing with you. And that can help people. Because the thing with stunting is that the more you do it, the better you get at it. So a lot of people, there are some people who just have trouble with stunting, and they always have trouble with stunting. But for most people, the more you do it, the better you get at it. So if you help encourage other players to do it, then you're going to end up with a lot more stunting all around, which is usually going to mean a lot more stunt dice all around, and everybody's happier.
Everybody's happier. My final comment about stunting, unless you had something else you want to final comment. No? Okay. Stunting in general, kind of the theme for today's show. I should have said that at the beginning.
You did.
I did? Good.
Yeah.
Good. The final kind of thing about stunting is, as an ST, a lot of the, there's a lot of parts of STing that I really enjoy. But stunting, I always give more stunt dice for, and sometimes give stunt dice to things that maybe shouldn't deserve it, if they entertain me.
That's
As
true.
the guy sitting at the other end of the table, sometimes not doing anything. Like sometimes the players will interact by themselves for a long time. There's nothing for me to do. Bonus stunt dice for entertaining me. If that's making me laugh, if that's really impressing me, that's always rewarded.
Yeah.
And STs, you should always reward that. Because you have a hard job, and getting a laugh or just having a really memorable experience is worth it to you, and that's kind of what stunts should be rewarded.
Yeah. The point of the stunt is that it's making this a better story for everybody. So even if it isn't something that you normally think of as a stunt, if it made people at the table laugh or cry, or if it made that story more cohesive or more memorable in some way, then it was a good stunt.
Yep.
And it should be rewarded.
All right, I think that's all the time we have. I don't know. We have lots of time. We just don't
I think
know
we've
the
answered a
questions.
question.
We answered the questions accurately. If you have some comments about lighting, we're using a 3-point lighting system. There are one up above us, then there's one there and one there. As far as I can tell, that's the right thing to do.
We don't know what we're doing. We're really sorry.
Yeah. The wall, we'll try to fix for next time. We don't know about it. We got some really cool portraits of Yggdrasil up there that we were hoping you could see.
Yeah, you can't really see them. They're completely washed out. But
yeah, but also send in questions. Feel free. If you think something could be answered better on the video blog, you can go ahead and send that in as a video blog question if that was something.
I warn you, if it's going to have a lot of crunch and math, it's going to probably be in the regular blog.
Yeah, we won't do crunch and math here. But thank you for watching. I think we're going to try to get these out every Monday.
That's the plan.
Yep. So we're going to record them Sunday, put them out Monday morning. So you should have something to watch on Monday morning. Is there anything else?
I think that's it.
All right.
All right.
We'll see you later. Thank you.
Bye.